guys, welcome back to Human Condition. This video is another video in our astrology series. This video is what does it mean to be a Pisces Ascendant? So this should be a pretty interesting one. Hopefully this video gets pushed out to you guys. My last couple of videos haven't been pushed out recently for some reason, but hopefully this gets pushed out to you guys. It's probably my fault for not being consistent enough, but yeah. So what does it mean to be a Pisces Ascendant? Pisces Ascendants are the dreamers, the idealist people in life. They tend to be the most empathetic sign. Pisces Ascendants are known for self-sacrifice and self-isolation, which I know sounds kind of intense, but that just means sometimes have to go away from the world for a little bit because they're so empathetic and care for people that they sometimes forget their own needs for other people occasionally. So that's for the first house of a Pisces Ascendant. The second house for Pisces Ascendant is in Aries. The second house represents love and money and friendships. So with the second house in Aries, love and money is in self and passions. So in friend groups and self. So this suggests that the Pisces Ascendants finds their wealth in friend group through just being who they are and being themselves. And this is because their natural self is very empathetic and caring. So that they naturally attract a lot of people to want to be their friends and be part of their friend group. And they get their finances through their self, which just means like Aries also represents passion. So they'll probably get their finances a lot from whatever they're passionate about. This suggests that they might find a job that they're passionate about, and that's how they'll achieve their finances for the Pisces Ascendant. Third house, which is in communication intellect, what the Ascendant sign talks and thinks a lot about. Communication intellect is in friend group and love and money. So this suggests that a Pisces Ascendant is very focused on their friends and their finances, which makes sense because their second house suggests that they attract a lot of people to their friend group because they're very empathetic and their finances come from their passions. So this would make sense that their minds, what they're always talking and thinking about is their friends. When they're out and about, they're talking about their friends or their friend group, and they're thinking about talking about their finances, and thinking about their finances a lot as well. Also, fourth house. The fourth house is past, home, and family and emotions. So for a Pisces Ascendant, this is in Gemini. Gemini represents communication intellect. So Pisces Ascendant, past, home, and family is in communication intellect. So within their family, they're always sharing their opinions and they might come from a very opinionated family. However, this side of them is not often seen because they're so empathetic. They might not express their opinionated side a ton to people because they try to empathize with people and try to relate with people, and they don't want to cause any controversy. But the family might come from a family that is very opinionated, and also within their family might actually start to share their opinions more. And once you actually get close to the Pisces Ascendant, you realize that they also are opinionated and they'll share more of their thoughtful side to you once you get closer to the Pisces Ascendant. So past, home, and family, communication, intellect, and emotions. Fifth house is in Leo. It's a sign of creative expression, self-confidence. So for Pisces Ascendant, this is in Cancer, which kind of makes sense because the first house is the self, and it's the water sign of self-sacrifice and self-isolation, Pisces, or empathy, emotion. So fifth house is how they express themselves one-on-one to people and how people feel comfortable expressing themselves to them. So it's in the sign of Cancer, which represents past, home, and family and emotions. So with Pisces Ascendant, with their unique disposition of being very empathetic and awesome to people, people feel comfortable expressing their emotions to them and their past, home, and family a lot to one-on-one to the Pisces Ascendant. The Pisces Ascendant often also likes to express how they feel as well one-on-one with people and also their past, home, and family. And this makes sense because the first house being empathetic, they attract people who want to share their emotions. And then in return, Pisces will also want to share their emotions and their family. In their past. pretty cool. Sixth house is day-to-day realities, and it's opposite of the 12th house, which is probably one of my favorite houses, if I'm being honest, which is the house of dreams and desires, hidden desires. So for a Pisces ascendant, their day-to-day reality is in Leo, which is creative, expressive, and their day-to-day reality is in Leo, which is in creative expression and self-confidence. So this is just their job, or like the job they might have, since it's based off their passion and their self, their finances. The job they might have is kind of almost as an entertainer. Suggests that this sign might be good at acting because they feel a lot of emotions. It can convey any type of emotion, any person's emotions, whatever. So their job they might have might be a job of expressing themselves and sort of like an actor. And might rely heavily on having a lot of self-confidence, but it might make it hard for them to be more. Their job might require a lot of self-confidence, borderline ego potentially, whereas their desires to be humble and help society. Their job forces them to be more self-confident and focus on entertaining people rather than. This might seem kind of conflicting because they're so empathetic and helpful, but one thing is the double-edged sword, how they might have a whole bunch of friends, or like their friend group just might be sometimes themselves. In some regards, Pisces is always known as being are known to be big dreamers, but not as realistic. So their job might require them to express themselves to obtain finances. For example, positively, this is like an actor, entertainer, expressing and the ability to express emotions that aren't even theirs because they're so empathetic. However, this could also be expressing a desire and a need for someone to help provide for them financially as well. So their day-to-day reality requires a lot of self-confidence in expressing themselves to express all types of emotions, like but also expressing the things they need because they might struggle with their job occasionally, sometimes, potentially. Seventh house is Virgo, how they are with in their one-on-one friendships and what type of friends they attract. Pisces is a sign of self-sacrifice and self-isolation, which is kind of tense. So, and empathy and big dreams, but having a hard time being practical in day-to-day life and hardworking in day-to-day life sometimes. So they attract very put-together people who are very detail-oriented, that can help them achieve their big dreams and goals, and help them organize their lifestyle occasionally, because they might struggle with organization. And in their one-on-one friendship as well, you might see them, instead of their helpless side, you might see their actual helpful side and be able to help out their friends as well, because their friends also help them out a ton. So they struggle with practicality, but their strength is empathy and big dreams and imagination, just a hard time being practical enough to achieve those big dreams, and might need their friends to help them achieve their big dreams. The eighth house, one of my favorite houses, one of the coolest houses. Every sign has a pro and cons. The eighth house is their assigned weakness, or ascendant sign's weakness, and where they must grow, because every sign has pros and cons. The Pisces ascendant eighth house is in Libra, friendship. And even, like I said earlier, they might have a ton of friends or might struggle with friendships, but no in between. So their weakness in life is one-on-one friendships. They might succeed in friend groups, but they have a hard time with one-on-one friendships. So the struggle in life is having that good one-on-one close connection with people outside their friend group, and something they might struggle with, similar to Scorpio. I think I had talked about in the past. And for them to achieve their dream of being helpful in building society and humanitarian goals, they have to work past this struggle to form one-on-one friendships. And once they are able to form strong one-on-one friendships, they can be closer to helping society with humanitarian activities. But one struggle they have is forming deep one-on-one friendships. That's one struggle the Pisces Ascendant. But it's hard to develop a one-on-one friendship with someone that you don't truly know, because they're always masking who they are through other people's emotions, if that makes sense. They're reflecting the emotions other people give them, but not actually how they feel all the time. Sometimes they do, but not always. Ninth house, knowledge and travel, why Ascendant sign likes to learn and what they might travel for, is in the 8th house, Scorpio. So knowledge and travels and intimacy, death and transformation, which sound kind of intense. That just means this Ascendant usually learn through life, mostly comes through deep, and why they travel is usually deep one-on-one emotional connections with people. This is because they're able to form deep emotional one-on-one connections, which makes it surprising why they aren't able to form close friendships. But the reason this is because they're able to express how they feel, but not their opinionated side. They can't express their controversial opinions, but they express how they feel. And that's why they have a hard time with friendships sometimes. However, with this knowledge and travel, when they travel, it's usually for personal growth, such as sign of Scorpio, or a romantic relationship, or a deep one-on-one emotional connection with someone, and that's why they travel, to meet that person or travel with that person or for that person. And knowledge comes from their deep emotional connections, to make sense, because first house is keep to themselves, dreaming, imagination, empathy. And then the 5th house, one-on-one people they attract for expression, people expressing how they feel and their family to them expressing how they feel and their family, and through that interaction, the knowledge to gain is from that deep emotional connection. The 10th house, future success and reputation. So as a Pisces Ascendant, this is in Sagittarius, which is knowledge and travel. And because they're so empathetic, keep to themselves, they're often seen as wise, very wise people, and very knowledgeable. And this is true to an extent, but in reality, they're more opinionated than fact-based. They actually have more opinions than they actually people know about. They think people might think they're wise and like know a lot of things, which they do, but most of the things they know is actually their own opinions, because the 4th house is in Gemini. But because they're very empathetic and keep to themselves, people see them as very knowledgeable, smart, and wise, and they are. However, it's not as people think that they're knowledgeable in facts, but they're knowledgeable in like creative thinking and problem solving, and their opinions basically as well. 11th house is the role in society, how they view society, how society views them. Or Pisces Ascendant, the role in society, how society views them. How they view society is Capricorn. So they view society as a place where people work hard to build a strong reputation for themselves, are hardworking, and they care a lot about people work hard to maintain a good reputation, and they work hard to maintain a good job. And people see them as someone with a good reputation and a hard worker. And their role in society is to maintain a good reputation, build something meaningful, and be a hard worker. And this kind of makes sense why society might view them as hardworking and determined, even though they might struggle sometimes. And this is because the 3rd house being communication, intellect, they're always talking about their finances and their friend group. 7th house, their friends are very hardworking and determined, and they attract very well put together people who are organized. So that makes sense why people would view them as hardworking. They're talking about their finances a lot, their friend groups, and their friends are always hardworking and determined and put together. So people obviously view them as someone who is hardworking and determined, which is a good thing. In the 12th house, the hidden dreams and desires. Pisces Ascendant wants to help society and be independent and do their own thing. However, they have a hard time doing this because they're so empathetic. Aquarius represents helping society, but also yourself. Pisces represents helping everyone, but not yourself, sometimes, sadly. So with this Ascendant sign, they might sometimes overlook their own goals to help other people's goals. And because they keep to themselves so much, they might have a hard time having as much as impact on society as they want. But if they work hard on expressing, making those one-on-one friendships and expressing their more opinionated side, they can very well impact society in a great and awesome way. So yeah, this is what it means to be a Pisces Ascendant. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe if you want. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.